beautiful people. I feel like for the sake of this episode, we should have like a movie soundtrack. Dun, 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 dun.
That's not a movie soundtrack.
No, I mean, but they get the drift. Anyways, they do get the drift. You people used to watch film now. Anyways, I am your host, Jamila Oiza Muhammad Jamiu, and this is the Don't Be Afraid podcast. Welcome. On today's episode, we're talking about advanced technology transforming the Nigerian film industry. And with me here, I have Zainab. Well, our main guest for today's show is Ayodele. I didn't give you a chance to talk, but I did it on purpose. Our guest here today to discuss this topic is Ayodele. Hi.
Hi.
You look very...
Let me say what she cannot say.
Okay.
Handsome, chilled, and then this
Wow.
color,
guys on lilac.
This color looks
It's
good.
giving.
Looks good
It's
on you.
giving. It's not every time you see guys wear lilac. They don't wear
Which
the kind
one
of
is
colors.
giving? Just say it's fine. He's handsome.
It's giving.
The color fits your skin tone.
If it's your
Thank you.
aesthetics,
Thank you.
But I'm still pissed.
that's
She just said Zainab. We're the main guest. So what am I? Am I an extra?
Don't mind
I
that.
didn't
Sorry
actually
about
say
that.
it. So, but now that you said it, I feel like you actually fit. But it's not for my mouth that you heard it anyways.
Anyway, guys, I am here as the consumer, as he said.
As the extra, like you said. You said what you said, didn't you? Okay.
Anyways.
So, moving on. We usually have like these icebreakers before
Okay.
we start fully. What's your spirit animal and how does it reflect your personality?
Oh, wow. Okay. Funny enough, I've actually never thought about
Thought
it. But
about it?
I think there's something that just comes to mind. I think chameleon, but not in a
Creepy way.
creepy way.
Okay.
Yeah, just in a diverse way. Because I can say I adapt it easily, and I'm like, because my signature name is diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I
I
like.
thought it was divas.
No, it's diverse. Diverse, that's feminine. Like diverse.
Okay.
So, like from diverse, the actual D-I,
Yeah.
diverse.
The way it was spelled.
Oh, how is it spelled?
D-Y,
D-Y-V-E-S.
V-A-S. Yes. V-A-S.
I don't know why I thought it
V-A-S,
was
okay.
D. But anyways, sorry. Moving on.
That's fine.
No, but I
Okay.
would think it's diverse.
I just thought it was divas. I don't know. Okay, so I did not tell you people before, but the esteemed guest sitting beside me is an all-round creative and a movie director. Crazy.
Upcoming, please.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna be humble here. We're gonna raise our chest,
He's-
our
he's
shoulder up,
trying
and
to
be
be
proud
humble.
with our full chests. We're gonna do that. And we're going to be talking all things movie. I think personally I'm intrigued by the movie industry and I really would want to know lots of things from this episode. I don't know about Zainab.
No.
She used to hide and watch manga, so she's not going to publicly say that she's interested.
wow.
So I said I don't know about her.
No. I mean,
So-
I'm here to count stars. I'm not here to.
If you see, you say what you said. If you say it, who am I to deny? So now that we already discussed your spirit animal, I want us to like start proper.
But you didn't ask me for it.
Yeah, what's your
Give
spirit?
me
Yeah,
the
what's your spirit?
icebreaker.
What's your
No,
spirit animal?
usually give it to all guys because I'm not important.
Yeah, sorry. What's your spirit animal?
I don't need one.
Wow.
That was supposed to sound. That would sound like something that
You're supposed to sound cool.
a boss would say. It doesn't sound cool, but
I don't think he hit. He did not slap. He did not debe.
You didn't give.
He didn't debe.
let's move on.
Okay. So story.
Okay,
Story.
This life is beautiful.
Director,
Do
can
you
you
guys-
cut that?
Do you guys remember that movie? Because okay.
It's a movie or
I-
a series. This life.
This life, I don't know.
It's
It's a
a
series,
series,
but
right?
okay, yeah. So that movie is stuck in my head. Firstly, because I grew up watching it, and because there's a particular lesson that my dad always rang. He at every opportunity he did not fail to tell me. So there's this scene where the grandpa asks the guy, Jump, I'll catch you. Jump, I'll catch you. Say, Papa, are you sure? Are you sure? He say, trust me. I'm your father. I will catch you. Okay. And then he took the limp and he jumped, and his father did not catch him. So my daddy would tell me, even your father, don't trust your father. Don't trust anybody. So, and since we're talking about technology and how it advances in the movie industry today, did you watch that movie? Let me first ask so that you don't say I'm dissing.
No,
Did you watch?
it's like this. So growing up, I also watched this live. I watched Super Story.
Okay, if you
but
did,
I cannot remember.
But you remember the quality of those movies then now, ba?
You'd be like,
So those quality and were not exactly the current quality of movies that we see now. I mean, look at Madame Koi Koi.
true.
Who could have
I've
believed
not watched
that
it
would?
though, but
Okay, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
so no. It's like this. There are lots of
Okay.
comments. So it's not making me want to watch it.
Okay, well, Madame Koi Koi aside, but me, I've seen it, Sha. The current quality of movie that we have now it has tremendously grown compared to what we had before.
True.
And I feel like tech had a play in that. So how would you explain our growth over the years?
Okay, so when judging with our standard, I'm talking about Nollywood now, not
Yes.
Hollywood. I think we've grown like very very like fast paced actually, and it's I would say in like 4 different aspects. The tech wise, which is the actual softwares we use, the actual equipment, and accessibility to some kind of information. For example, if you're talking about the actual equipment we use now, we have cameras that films at very very high resolution, and I mean, some of these cameras are not as expensive as we would think they would be, and we have access to those kind of now we have access to advanced softwares that allows us to do a lot of things. In as much as they are affordable ones, there are also ones that are really really high end.
Yeah,
But
true.
there's no excuse of you saying, okay, I cannot do this because I don't have the money. So there's always something for everybody.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to software also, there are expensive softwares, and there are also mid-grade software, and there are free softwares. There are softwares that you can actually download on your phone when it comes to editing, so that you don't have any excuse literally. People do YouTube vlogs now. They don't even need a system. They do start to finish on their mobile phones.
Or the video editing.
Do you understand? The kind of phones we have also are also, they put these things in because they've understand that they understand that people actually, they feed on quality things.
Yeah.
Our eyes is like one of the most, would I say
Eyes
important
of the
because
king.
it sees everything.
True.
Do you understand?
It's the first means of
Is the
consumption on your
exactly
eyes.
before when sorry to use this analogy, when you see a lady, do you understand? Before you hear her speak,
her.
before you
Know
know
who
where
she
she's
is.
coming from, the first sense that
catches
picks
you.
everything is your eyes. So they also put that into consideration while making mobile phones. Most of the times when iPhone releases the first thing they talk about is most likely their camera. We have mobile phones now that shoots close to what high-end cameras films. So those things are things that over time it has greatly improved the quality of what we see.
True.
Even though I personally, I don't want to sound like that guy, but I personally think we in the industry in Nigeria, we are not tapping enough into we are not using these so-called technologies as they are meant to. I feel like these guys, for example, something has the capacity to work 100%, well, we are just using like, let's say 30%.
Wow.
And the reason I think that is because, when you're comparing, there's this thing they say about a blind person being the king in a some kind of village. I can't remember. So basically, what they're trying to say is, because you are judging based on what your environment is feeding you,
Yeah.
you're just, that's your standard.
It has
To
formed
them,
your standard.
to them, they are doing 80%, they are doing 90%.
Yeah.
But the 100% is just 20% to, the guys in Hollywood. So if you can only just, change your standards,
Yeah.
then you can, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying
I
to say.
do, I
Because
do.
most times I see people just settle for less. You get a camera, and what baffles me the most is we have opportunity, like we have access to this equipment. This is the same equipment that these guys over there use. But why is it that our content still looks different? I asked my question. I mean, that's like the first thing I started to ask myself while I got into the industry. Like, why? Why? Is there something they are not telling us? Is there something they are trying to hide from us? Do you understand? But then I realized that it's just that when you just get that, when we get the equipment here, we just feel like, oh, it's filming. Okay, fine. And based on the quality we are coming from, when we see something different, we just settle at that. Oh my God, this is great. Whereas it could be greater.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So we just
Yes.
settle for that. And we forget that the people that actually make this thing, this is what they are telling us this thing can do. Even if they are lying, I feel like there's a, for example, our phones as humans, there are a lot of things that are eating that we've not even,
Actually,
do you
yeah.
get? And the reason is because we've seen our phones as just mobile phones. We just use it to make call.
And
The moment you start seeing your
Yes.
phone as a tool for productivity, you would, you literally harness more of its power.
yeah.
Do you understand? But if you don't see your phone as a tool for productivity, when you just see your phone as a mobile device, you just used to, make calls
Then
and
have to just call,
accents. Do you understand? Then that's what it's going to be. No matter iPhone 20, iPhone 25, that is
Yes.
literally what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But if you see it as a means of productivity, and you're like, okay, I think there should be more to this. Then you start
Yeah.
exploring. You start exploring. You're not just basing it on the fact that it's a mobile phone. You can just make phone call. It's a camera. This is what it can shoot. It's a software. This is what Do you understand? So in terms
Yeah.
of technology, I personally feel like in as much as we have access to everything these guys are using over there, we are still not harnessing
It's as much.
as much as we.
I wanted to ask him a question. Do you think that in the coming years we would they would be able to see or use these tools, as you have said, in the capacity that they should, or do you think it would continue to be a problem where they do not utilize tools the way they are supposed to?
So I can't answer that question because I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is because I'm disappointed sometimes when I see the gatekeepers. And when I say gatekeepers, these are like OGs in the industry make those mistakes also. I'm scared because these are the people that like the people we look up to. These are the people that are supposed to preserve that. But since these guys are also on that pedestal, like it's scary. Because that's why I cannot categorically answer that question.
I understand.
And maybe towards the end, then I would now make mention of the things that I do in my own capacity to like, at least I know I cannot change the world. Or I can change
People
around me.
Yes.
You
can make an
do you
influence.
understand? So I'll speak about that later when it comes to, okay, fine. People that are not on that pedestal yet, when you're climbing up to this, there are things that you can actually do to just make sure that, okay, it starts. Rome wasn't built in a day.
At all.
Do you understand? So if people like me, upcomings like me, can actually take that into consideration and build that community that way, I feel like yes, it might take a while, but we'll get there eventually. Do you understand? So I can't categorically answer you there. I know, of course, at some point we'll be there. Do you understand? But I don't know when. There's a studio in Lekki. An audio production studio, which is like, I would say one of the best. And the reason is because they have this board that I think is just, 3 in Africa, and the remaining 2 is in South Africa. They just have one of that in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, and but guess what? That's a big deal, yeah?
Yeah.
But Snoop Dogg has that board in his house. Do you understand?
Levels.
And here in Nigeria, the studio that has it is a very big company.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to mention them, but it's a very, very big company. Do you understand? Like, these are companies that the directors, the people running these companies are like, rich guys.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that is like that is something that they've probably released maybe 10 or 15 years ago in the US. But you understand what I'm trying to say? But to us, based on our standard, that's
it's
like
a big
really
deal.
dope.
It's dope. It's big.
Like it's so dope because and I mean to an extent it's good. One day we'll get there. Do you understand? One day at least we'll get there. That studio where they recorded some of Black Panther's, the recent Black Panther's what's it called, music in it.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Do you understand? But at least I was excited to see that. Okay, fine, it's actually something. Even though okay, we just have three in Africa, but at least one is in Nigeria. It's a plus.
Yeah, it's a plus.
It's a plus. Yeah.
We are getting there.
So curious, personally, how did you get into this industry? Did you always know that I want to be a movie director? This is my life goal, or you found yourself along the line, or you had a calling, spiritual calling from God to preach a gospel, to do something in the movie industry?
So the truth is, this is a story. I don't know if it's time for me yet to tell the story.
Story.
Because and the reason I'm saying is because I'm not blown yet. Well, the reason why I'm here today.
Don't say that.
Okay, right?
The reason why I'm here today is because
tell
I
your
failed.
Story.
It's because I failed.
And now we want. I think you should anchor the story. Then we'll say, start.
It's basically because I failed. Yeah,
start with the story.
Okay, so it started.
No, like say story.
Okay, sorry. Story.
So
it started when time.
No, you will say once upon a time.
Okay, sorry. Story. Once upon a time.
Time.
Okay. Like, can I go? Okay, thank you. So I was fresh out of secondary school, and I failed my WAEC. Yeah, I failed English, and we all know English. Like without English,
you
like,
cannot do anything.
And I was not the most brilliant student in class. Yeah, but I didn't know why I failed English, because English was one of my favorite subjects, and like first three in class, I was among. So I didn't understand. It didn't make sense to me. Nobody believed me when I told my colleagues, when I told my teachers in school that I failed English. They were like, "What did you say?" Like, I mean, not to sound like that person, but there were people that I know that could not even speak. This guy is past, and I'm like, wait. It was a very serious thing because I didn't understand why I had to. Even mathematics, I wasn't really good at. I passed mathematics.
You passed it, yeah.
Then why? I didn't understand. Like, then a colleague, like a neighbor. We're not attending the same school. He was attending, but we wrote work together. Then his mom called me. She attends Deeper Life Church. Then his mom called me because he told his mom, like, "Oh, this also happened." His mom called me, and she was like, "There's a reason why you failed English. Like, you just need to." I used, and in my mind I was like, "What are you saying?" Like, you would say that now your son passed now. Like, so I was like, she's capping literally. And the first year went by. I think the next year, then it broke me because I was scared of exams. I didn't believe in myself because, and my dad was quite strict. I wouldn't lie to you. When you were mentioning these lives and everything, I can relate to you because my dad was into production. He was part of the crew that actually, during that area. Yeah, believe me. So trust me, sometimes I'm at home watching and I'm seeing my dad on screen, or I get to school, I don't watch the episode, I get to school the next morning, you're like, "Oh, we saw your dad on screen," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I also wanted to be a child actor just because I just wanted to be on screen. But he never allowed, he was just this kind of person as an Ikiti man, just go to school, face your studies, that kind of thing. So my dad was, quite hard on me, and I was like, okay. So it was very difficult because I didn't believe in myself anymore. Then I think 2 years after, then I took another exam, a GCE exam. I failed woefully.
Wow.
I've never had F9 in my life. I had F9 in that, and it didn't make sense to me. Okay. Then the second year, I was still at home. Then I think it was my auntie was like, okay, it's not like, why would you just be at home, just writing exam next? Why don't you just, attend there's this data computer training thing. Why don't you just go and just, I was like, what is this? I was very reluctant. And she was like, okay, she was going to pay. I was like, okay. And I went there. And I can say categorically that was where it started from. That very day,
game-changing moment.
That very day, I was just supposed to have a 3 hours class, and I spent the entire day. And what changed my life, or what changed my perception, was that I can't imagine you telling me that this this device is actually what they use to do all these things.
Yeah.
That was it for
We're
me.
intrigued.
I had this neighbor that was also like a graphics designer and everything. And he would show me stuff. It was like, he did this with this. And I'm like, are you serious?
It's fascinating.
It was fascinating. And that's how it started. And I was like, so that point when I started that training and I took the exam again. And guess what? I passed. And that passing thing is a very funny thing because I was at the point when I was like, almost like, I'm just going to run this exam. Do you understand? Because I didn't believe in myself anymore. Do you understand kind of thing? And I was in the exam hall, and throughout the period, I had someone that my mom knew that she knew I was writing an exam, and she was like offering to give me,
Yeah.
at every, but I would refuse. And this woman would be like, "Are you
So normal.
like, are you normal? I'm serious." Like, it was very weird. And my sister told me, like, God bless my sister. My sister told me after every single day when I'm leaving for the exam, she's like, don't take expo. And in my mind, I'm like, what's this? Like, what are you saying? Like, I need this so much. My mind just said, just believe. You can actually do this. That year, I read less. That's the truth. I read less, but I think I was a bit, because then I found something that I enjoyed doing, which was, because I started as a graphics designer then. So I think just improved my confidence. Okay, I was like, oh, I'm actually good at this.
Something.
Yeah.
And then I came out as the best graduating student then in the school. So I think that's actually
Boosted your confidence.
I did the exam, I passed. And I was like, okay.
Finally.
So luckily for me, after I did the exam, I was like, okay, now it's time to get into school. Then I would say luckily for me, because then I got a job offer. Then something I've never done before. Someone wants to employ me as a graphics designer. I'm like, I've never worked in a company. Then the only thing I just do is like designing logos for people, collect 1,000 naira, 1,005, that kind of thing. And someone is telling me that, I'm going to pay you 30,000 naira monthly. And I'm like, what's this guy saying? Are you joking? Then I spoke to a senior brother, so to say. And you know what he told me? He said, okay. He said, this company that I want to go to, that, what do I think about it? I said, the way the guy sounds smart, this, that. He said, okay, and I want to go to school this year. I said, yes. He said, okay, you can just do part-time, do part-time so it helps you study and also work together. I was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. So that was actually what I did. And most of my experience today came from that. And apart from actual work experience, when it comes to also work ethics and the fact that what made me diverse was because I was in a startup company. Now, when it comes to startup, you can't hire a lot of staff.
Yeah.
So you are the one doing this. My boss just came one day, bought a camera, and was like, in the next 2 weeks, we are filming a wedding and you're filming it. So I was like, what? Just that kind of thing. So I had to get that camera, start, checking it out. Okay, what do I need to do? Editing the same thing. So I learned all those things just in process of an actual
Job.
So it wasn't like I knew where I was going to. I didn't know where I was going to. That's the truth. I didn't know where I was going to. One thing I could just say was that when I was in school, I was just so, so focused that I was able to pay my school fees from what I was doing. That's the, and my dad was really impressed. At that point, I think at that point he saw that, okay, it's like this guy, has something going on. So that was just it during that period. And that was how I just, proceeded. And at some point, I think after that then, and I was just like, okay, I think this is what I want to do. I think this is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many movies, films have you directed?
Yeah. So I've not directed any feature films, any feature-length films, so mostly short films.
Okay.
You asked me to count, I can't. So I think let's see. I think around maybe 6. Yeah, not so much. I think it's 6.
That's actually something.
Yeah, 6.
That's something.
Yeah, 6.
And in your experience,
Yeah.
what does it take to create a great film?
What it takes to
A
create
good film.
a good film.
Great film.
When you say a great film, it's very subjective. Is it subjective?
I was going to say that.
I don't think it's subjective. I think you kind of understand what I'm trying to drive at, but because there are some movies that, regardless how great you think it is, it can never be good to me.
Exactly.
No, I think where I'm coming from is storyline aside,
Yeah.
in terms of the quality of the movie.
Okay, in terms of quality of a movie, I think you just need to pay attention to details. That's just what I'm going to say. Because even if you have the greatest funding,
Yeah.
you have the best hands on deck.
Yeah.
If they don't put in that extra and they don't pay attention to details, trust me.
It's gonna be trash.
And I won't give examples, but I know millions of.
Why? Why can't you give
No,
examples?
I'm not going to be
Okay,
like that.
This is the Do Not Be Afraid podcast.
Oh,
You
not like I'm
know.
afraid.
But you know,
No, not like I'm afraid. But something is, in as much as I have something to say about things, I'm very careful.
it's good to
The
be
things
safe.
you say.
You know, not even safe. And the reason is because I'm also a filmmaker. I know it takes a lot to make a movie.
Yeah.
So I'm always very careful the things I say. Not because I'm scared,
Okay.
but I'm just always very careful. I don't,
You know,
except I'm amongst
criticism is easy when it's coming when you are judging
judging other
Alright,
person.
okay.
And most criticism, most times when I criticize, there are things I have solution for. If I don't have solution or better ways to achieve those things, I'm just
You'd
going to
rather not.
keep my mouth shut.
True. So there is something I wanted to talk about. So I was going to talk about this movie that Femi Adebayo released this year, Jagun. So you know the story.
You're not asking me if you've seen the movie.
Have you seen the movie?
Why are you doing that?
Because I know that most Nigerians don't like to watch Nigerian movies, or some Nigerian filmmakers
Okay.
like to watch Nigerian movies.
Nigerian filmmakers, really?
Yeah.
That's a thing. I know that a couple of times people will say, "Oh, I don't watch Nigerian movies because it's not interesting. It's too cliche. It's cringe." You know.
Some of them
but I didn't know
don't.
Nigerian filmmakers
Some of
do
them
that.
don't.
Really?
Or maybe they do to just criticize.
So like, have you watched?
I've not seen
Jagun?
Jagun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot about it.
Okay.
Ah.
So much that I can see I've
Well,
seen it.
I just wanted to talk about. So I do not know a lot of movie technical terms. So, but I was just going to talk about how, aside from the story did not really gel for me like that. Do you get? But the cinematography, I don't know if I'm correct, and the costume really did something for me. So in Jagun there was a lot of spiritual this thing. Call something spiritually, whether it's a spirit or something. Yeah. So what fascinated me in Jagun is that I remember growing up when I used to watch those old Yoruba Nollywood movies on
African Magic Yoruba.
no, not even African Magic. That time we didn't have DSTV.
LTV.
STV, Galaxy.
Galaxy.
So we used to
MITV.
STV didn't used to play Yoruba
STV.
movies.
No, I don't think.
LTV and
LTV.
Galaxy.
I think NTA too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that time, you know that when, for example, when they want to, in that part where they want to do maybe a spiritual fight, and then let's say they want to send something to another person, and then that thing that they are sending, you know how ridiculous it looks. That if maybe they want to send a sickness to someone, how ridiculous it look that the sickness will travel miles.
Like you see it's moving it up in
You
the
see it moving up.
air. Then it goes,
But then it's not enter the person. It's like, ah. So in Jagun there were a lot of fights like that, but they were able to do it in such an interesting way that it wasn't. So I was like, it was that moment. I was like, oh man, Nollywood low.
Yeah.
Do you get? There were a lot of that guy that I think he has a relationship with Wood or something. He had the ability to speak to any kind of Wood. They were able to do it in such a way that it wasn't cringe. Old Yoruba movie, especially before, it would have been so cringe.
But sorry to cut you. Should I tell you that the reason why you're cringing at those things back then was because you've seen cool things now. Back then, we don't need to cringe.
Intrigued by it.
We're intrigued by those things back then. Now that's where one of my problem comes from.
True, you have a
seeing
point.
those kind of things in movies now. Do you know that those things still exist in the movies that are made in this time?
This time,
yes,
like
Yoruba movies that are made like in this time.
Specifically Yoruba movies.
Yes, I mean,
actually, Yoruba movies are not very
in this time.
There's
not much growth.
It's just
yes, they can tell you there's growth, but how is it matching? General.
I have a problem with the storytelling these days. I have a problem.
But you know they
with
have
it.
great stories. Yoruba,
They do?
They do. They actually do. I'm telling you.
No, wait, we're talking Jagun. Yeah.
Oh,
Great
okay, yeah,
story.
yeah.
No.
But I'm talking
Jagun
about
was
regular
good.
That's what
African
I'm
magic
saying.
film. They have
That's what I'm saying.
that story. That
You know why? You know one thing I've realized, because I've been in like meetings where we are speaking with Yoruba movie producers, and when I hear their story, what I just realize most time is that they're just very what's the word? I don't want to use the word lazy, but they just feel like, oh, let's just push it out there. Because guess what? Most times when they narrate this story, I always get these ideas and I'm like, okay, why don't you do like this movie like this? And trust me, it ends up becoming like a very nice. So they always have like, okay, this is the direction. But the fact that maybe the same person doing this is the same person doing this, you don't have you're not collaborating with other people. It boxes your idea.
no idea.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You know, I know someone that anytime it comes to storytelling, he wants to write a script. He's always open, you know, other people's, you know, idea. Because you know of Mide, the last short film he did. I remember they told me at some point, he was the writer. He got lost in his own story at some point. He had to, you know, call another, you know, writer to help him, you know, give it out to. You don't understand? It helps a lot. But the problem with them is that it's just them alone. Do you understand? So they keep it at that. So they are not they won't see other angles to things.
Yeah, so another thing that was fascinating for me, still this Jagun is the details. So
There was so much attention to detail.
there was so much
movie.
attention to details, especially defining the character. Starting from, you know, the hair, the clothes. So there was this thing. I followed this director. I think that's Niyi Akimolayo. Yeah. So you know he also worked on Jagun.
So that's where collaboration comes in.
Yeah. He worked on Jagun, and you know he now talked about the process that went into the designing the costume that was, is it Ogunjimi or what's his name? The main guy, Femi Adebayo. The process that went into designing his costume, and then he posted a picture of, so they had like different styles, so they that they had to pick from.
Yeah.
So you know it was fascinating.
Lots of creative process.
Yeah, the creative process behind it was just fascinating to me. And to be honest, so far of all the Nigerian movies that I have watched or that I think came out this year, I think Jagun stood out for me.
I think it did.
And you know, like way. you already said it, and it's exciting to see someone like you say all this. You're not a filmmaker, but you are like, I mean, I won't say an ordinary consumer. You're a proper consumer. She's a writer. Oh, okay, you're a proper consumer, yeah. But you're saying all these things because sometimes we feel like people don't care. We feel like the audience don't care.
Oh,
they
no.
do.
But they actually do care.
And people are beginning to actually come out to critique. I think people found out that, okay, it's as if people are taking us for granted.
I have a case study.
Yeah.
They started critiquing movies that, okay, no, you gave us this build up and then you just brought us down. Like,
yeah.
An example is this.
Sorry. And I think that some producers are not taking it lightly because they feel like we should take what they dish to us.
True.
So when they see that people are revolting, they're like,
I think it will also help them to
we learn naturally in Nigeria, or we are not, our cancel culture is not that great. We are just beginning to do the whole cancel culture thing. So that's why when it comes to in the US, trust me, who are you? Regardless of who you are,
they will say
you.
Whatever they want to say.
Do you understand? But here in Nigeria, we're just, and thank God to the Gen Zs, thank God to the, you know, the
tech savvy.
No, I am. There's something I call these people. You know, so to me, I feel like we have two generations of millennials.
Yeah.
Do you get? So you see those young millennials, be the young millennials, so to say. We're like, we have this Gen Z.
Yeah, so attributes.
We are Sorosoke generation. So we don't take, you know, we will talk. So people are finding it difficult to, apart from the film industry, generally. Celebrities, they're finding it difficult to, you know, to adapt to when people want to cancel them, when people
or critique something
them,
they did.
Do you understand? So
and an example like of what she said that people are now coming out to criticize. An example is this Madam Koi Koi movie. So you know when I heard, I didn't go to a boarding school, but you know we heard a lot of Madam Koi Koi stories and is it Bush Baby. So when I heard that a Madam Koi Koi story was coming out, I was like, yeah. And then I started seeing. Then I started reading comments. on the movie,
Online,
and
yeah.
how people were saying the whole point of Madame Coco is that they say you hear the heels,
The heel of a lady,
clicking,
yes.
On the floor, and it was tormenting. But based on the comments that I have read so far, they said that didn't happen.
It was completely different.
And that it was
my
completely
guy.
different from the original Madame Koi
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 Koi.
story.
See,
So there was a particular comment I read, and then the person said that I'm not going to, I cannot remember it word for word, but it was in the lines of how the people that sat down to write this story, they just did it to push out somebody's rape fantasy, and then now borrowed the Madame Koi Koi name to
and
push
it out.
to
Because
push
it
it
didn't
out.
tally.
Thank God there's
may
someone
not
that has
have
watched
gone
it
to-
here.
I may not have gone to boarding school full time, but I know that my junior secondary school, at least just two, I stayed in, and I heard the story. I used to be freaking scared that if I want to pee, I have to wake someone up to go with me so that I would not pee on my bed. I have to. Or sometimes it's going to say, I'm as junior kids, we even pee on our bed because you don't want to
Because you
go and
don't want
meet
to
Madam Koi
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 Koi.
on the road, or you have to run. So when I because I sent out meals at work, and when I saw Madam Koi Koi is going to be a horror series, I was like, can we really do horror in Nigeria like this? But okay, fingers crossed, let's give it a try. And I saw episode 1. I will not lie, I was scared. That horror part, they actually did get it in the first episode.
Okay.
But then second episode came and I was, there's nothing koi about this. Nothing koi about this
something,
thing.
and I think I told you when we were discussing over the phone earlier.
Yeah.
That was that, and that's part of the things that movie can be a great. I've not seen it. It can be a very great story and whatever, but if they had named it something else.
different.
So I
probably.
have a problem with the titles they give.
They give
Certain
They
movies.
give
They
certain
give, yeah.
movies. Another one I would cite is the one that Tony Abraham, was it last year she released it? Ijakumo, the born
Omo,
again
that lady don't
stripper.
suffer, oh.
The born again stripper. No, I'm not going to say her work is shit, but then I have a problem when the story does not align. The beginning, it doesn't. So I feel like
we get carried away a lot as Nigerian filmmakers. Like we get carried away a lot in trying to build, because now. So here's the thing: sometimes they are so concerned about the audience.
yeah.
Or no, they think, or let's say we think we know what the audience wants.
Mm-hmm.
For example, now we have movies that when we think we know what the audience wants, we think they want to see luxury, they want to see this effect, they want to see. You forget your story, then you now start
Which is the
focusing,
main
which is the main thing.
spice.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's it. A lot of movies, a lot of so-called 200, 300 million budget.
Yeah.
And you're surprised.
Do
I'm
you
like,
understand? Like
how?
I watched the movie finish and I was like,
didn't
who
watch
is
Ijakumo.
the born again stripper?
Exactly.
Who is Ijakumo?
I never-
Why
I never
do you
got to
have
see-
why
Like,
do you
how-
have long dreads and nothing in the story is tied to how that happened? Let's even leave that. And another movie, though I've not watched it, but another thing I wanted to point out is, I don't even know if it's out, is a movie by this director Nia Kimolayo.
Okay.
So I'm sorry I've been calling him a lot, but I actually like him because I think he's one of those directors that might take Nollywood movies to the next level.
But do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why he has a very different perspective? Because he's coming from animation.
Yes, from animation.
The reason why Jagun Jagun, I was going
Yeah.
to say, sorry, the reason why Jagun Jagun was that good in terms of art direction, in terms of production design and costume, was because it's coming from animation. Now, this guy has, when it comes to animation is like very, very tedious. Like
It's technical.
it's very technical.
Really,
There's something they
technical.
call concept artists. Now, it was the concept artist that did all the designing of. So the concept artist basically sits down, gets the script, talks to the director, talks to the people involved, the script writer, tries to understand. Okay, this is where you're coming from. And the concept artist sits down and designs, those characters. So they went with the approach of animation, because that's what they do in animation.
Yeah.
When you see superhero, that's what they do. They build the costume. They tell you that okay, this guy is going to use a fiber, what's it called, leather, because is this what's it called, Black Panther, for example. They said his suit was made from titanium. That's the they give you stories about those things that makes you you're so immersed in those characters.
True.
And that's the same thing that happened in
With
Jago.
Jago.
So they did all that. So by the time you pick this character and you put it in like on screen, there's no way you want to. It's difficult for you to to downgrade that character because there's so much backstory. There's so much understanding of that character. You're not just picking a character and say you are a warrior. Okay, we are what a warrior. You are a warrior. Like, why are you a warrior? What kind of warrior are you? What are your weapons? What are your weaknesses? What are those things? And that was the same thing that happened. They got a concept artist. The person fleshed out all those things. Then they picked. Like, okay, let's pick this. Okay, this is the one I'll work. And you can see it. It comes out.
Yeah,
it shows
appreciate it.
good.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to go back to that Tony Abraham issue. So with that, what'd you get again? Born Again Stripper.
Yeah.
I did not get to watch that movie. I think it was around that time Funke Akindele's
Battle on
Buka Street came, and to be honest, I wanted to give it a try because I like Tony Abraham or Aimaku, and when I kept on hearing and seeing comments, especially from this guy Cinema Pointer on Instagram,
oh my god,
it's almost as though that guy hates her, but I don't think it's so. I think he's just really being
Cinema Pointer, just the way he
really
talks about
about her work in particular. It's like he hates her.
He has a personal
issue with her. So I didn't get to see that movie, and I remember Tony Aimaku in an interview saying that she had an entirely different line from that Born Again Stripper, but she got a spiritual. She slept and she dreamt, and all of a sudden she changed the name to Giacomo. And I'm like, and she said her crew were like, Tony, do you know what you're doing? Why are you changing? I said, no, this is what she must do. And then it came out and then it's just a big flop. Before we even go, there's this particular one that we now saw. I saw this one on IG. What is a lion doing in that movie? And it was just a scene.
You've not seen that?
I think it's very short. I think she was fighting the lion.
And I was like, and lion went and I was like, have we gotten to this level? Have we got? I should ask. Have we gotten to that level?
You know what baffles me, and it's so disappointing is that, and you guys do all that, and you decide to put it out to, they do,
my fans.
We filmmakers sometimes we do what the politicians do.
Yeah,
the politicians see us as puppets. They see us as, that's why you hear stories about politicians. Elephant swallowed this, monkey swallowed this, and they come out to say it. You're in court. You are faking.
Yes,
fainting. Those things are like is like.
Are we dumb to you?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I always try to think like, what were they thinking? Do you understand? The editor like, okay, then even the producer like. So, and you felt like, okay, this was actually...
I know. When you think that...
Mama Tony, can you mad?
When you think that they have a lot of time to discuss these
amongst
things
themselves.
So, you wonder if... So, nobody spotted this...
I say it, if you don't have budget for... Don't do it. Don't stress yourself.
Another thing that I even think about is I'm also looking at the audience. So this Nia Kimolayan, there's one thing he released. I think it's Mikolo.
Yeah, Mikolo. Animation and this thing together. Yeah.
Yeah. So where they brought in CGI.
Yeah.
So it's great. When I saw it, I was impressed. Like, Nollywood is doing this. That is like a Hollywood material. That's what they would do. So when I saw the trailer, I was impressed. But then I now read the comments, both the one on Instagram, the one on Twitter. So some people were like, "What is this? What's this rubbish?" So it just makes me wonder, like, are people even ready for?
Okay, so now let me tell you, the funny thing is, and I know I'm very sure Nee understands that already. For things to be good, do you think even the Hollywood guys, do you think the first person that tried everything we see, do you think the person was accepted?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you understand? So, and I think he knows that already. It takes so much balls to actually.
It does.
That's the first this thing I have. Do you understand? And he knows that already. He understands that fact. So regardless of your whatever comments, and I like the fact that you were able to see the good side of it, which is, okay, this is new. This is new. This is the first time we're seeing CGI.
Yeah,
and it was done to an extent. It was properly done.
It was.
Do you understand? It was properly done.
I feel
Nicolo,
like I'm lost.
it was
Nigeria.
it's a
I don't know,
fantasy.
It's fantasy.
In Nigeria.
Yeah. I think it was
children's-
was it kangaroo or
No, it wasn't even a kangaroo. It was
animal?
just one animal with, you know.
I
You
must
get-
say-
So they showed kids being friendly with
With
an
the
animal,
animal.
and
Okay.
you know it's just
And the way they designed the animal, it looks like this
is it a dragon?
it's like, it looks like a
It
dragon.
looks like a
all these
dragon,
Disney-
not a kangaroo.
Not a kangaroo, like a Disney
something
character.
Disney like,
You get-
something
Is it on
like
Netflix?
something like that. I don't know. Me,
No, I
I've
think
not-
it's on
I'm-
Prime.
I don't
Can't
know.
remember.
I've not watched it. It was a trailer I saw that just
That caught your attention.
yeah. So and then when I saw it, I was like, wow. So look at the amazing things this director is doing with CGI, and it just makes me wonder what the future of Nollywood would be with the use of CGI.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if other people start to adopt the CGI
Those
technique,
things.
it's going to be
We've and
going to be
we do
mad.
that.
yeah, we do it.
CGI.
Funny thing, you see, he has done a lot of things that he hasn't even gotten enough credit for.
Yeah,
I remember this movie, The Setup. I think, is it The Setup? This guy was in The Setup.
Was it the one?
He was. I think Adeswa to me.
Yeah, there was
That's
this,
why it
I didn't
There was this
actually
guy.
like that movie.
No, he's not Ramsey. No, this is one of these OG guys that uses that wears big glasses.
I can't remember.
The guy,
I can't remember
He talks.
his
He has this. What's his name? Basically, you know what he did? He de-aged that guy. And do you know what de-aging means? Like this is CGI, and nobody. A lot of people saw that movie. They didn't know that was what he did until he started to do the breakdown. Of course,
Yeah,
do you understand?
yeah,
Taking out
yeah.
someone's beards. A lot of changing someone's facial look. A lot of work. went into
a lot
that.
of work.
Do you understand? But he now is taking. Unfortunately, he has to be the one. He has to be the one to take all take all the the mistakes.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, every single thing he does, regardless of how perfect some people think it is, I know he's going to be like, it can be better than this.
Sure.
And he's always
of
trying
course.
to,
There's always room for more improvement.
Improvement.
Yeah.
So little by little, CGI has always been in our movie, but and little like sky replacement, stuff, little like that. But with time, we tend to.
And that's why I like to watch behind the scenes a lot, because
It
it
helps
gives
you appreciate.
it gives more perspective.
Yeah.
It helps you to understand more, and I'm just interested in how you sat down, you thought of
Story
this
behind
thing,
it.
how you were able to flesh it out, and it became something that we were able to consume in the way that we did. I really do look forward to Nollywood and the good things.
we also, I think
that will
with this,
happen.
also with this recent movie with RMD.
The Black Book.
Yes.
I think what's the director's name? Is it Etim Efyong?
Yeah, it's an Efyonke.
No, it's not.
Is that
it's Efyong.
Is Efyong?
I think Editi.
Editi Efyong. Yeah.
I actually loved everything about the movie except a particular storyline that
The journalist.
that
Everybody
didn't
was
happen to
talking
just
about
make
it.
sense to me. Did you get to see the movie?
Yeah, but sometimes here comes we audience who sometimes let me count myself as an audience. I think sometimes we overthink these things.
Really?
And do you know why I say it? Do you know why I say so? That same movie, the same Black Book, would be an American movie, and we might not see anything wrong with it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Uh,
like I said,
I saw a post recently. Was it the most watched? Like South Koreans were the ones that watched it more.
I
saw
didn't see
it
that.
The movie
I saw
was
a
great.
post.
The
I saw
action,
a post
Yeah.
on Twitter or something.
the ending bit with the northern ladies and
Yeah. It
the
was.
strategy, everything was actually, it was mad. No, I actually really did like it a lot. But I just feel like it's normal sense that as a reporter, as a journalist, if you're going to undertake a very risky thing like this, you should have a backup.
But I think I'm not defending or anything, but as a writer, as somebody that sometimes writes, fiction. Yeah, the point of, in this life, nothing is perfect. People would always make mistakes, but also looking at it as a creator as well, you would also want to do things that will make people to talk. Yeah,
So you think that was intentional?
Me somehow I feel like it's intentional for people to to
clickbait,
talk about.
sort
But then it's there is a character. That journalist is a character, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that is
The
how they
character can't be all
wanted.
perfect.
Yeah, maybe that's how they wanted.
But that's just
wanted
one.
the-
And I mean, in the entire movie, that's just one thing, and 100%
That's
is
the new
like.
thing that me.
That's what I'm saying. So let's just still give it its credits. Let's
Yeah.
give it
So
its flowers.
I don't think you should
I give it its
you should
credits
discredit
now.
it
Yeah.
because of
Did I discredit
because
it?
of that.
No.
I said it was mad.
There
But
is. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Go,
No.
go.
I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about. I don't know when we are talking Nigerian movies, and there are just some key people you would want to point out. So
Kemi
I was going to talk
Adesiba.
about. I actually don't remember how, but I was going to talk about
That's my
Fufuke.
sugar mommy.
Really?
That's my sugar mommy. Everybody that knows me knows that I have like mad crush on
I was
her.
going to talk about this Fuka Akindele latest
Yeah.
release. Is it she?
Yeah, she
She
must be obeyed.
she must be obeyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't watch it completely, but I watched the first episode and I was trying to understand it. I get the storyline. I get that the main character is one narcissist, insecure superstar that wants everybody to do her bidding and all of that. So, and then I was just trying to understand a lot of things, but the conclusion I came to is that I was like, is it that they are trying to adopt some Western, what makes Western movies Western? Are they trying to bring it in? And it just felt like it was too overly played. It was too, the whole was it her manager? Was it her manager?
Cisco.
Yeah, the whole
Way he
he actually played it well, but
No, that guy outdid himself in that movie.
yeah, but and then another thing that I also was trying to understand was the hair theme
her
for
makeup.
her, the hair,
I think it's to portray how much of a shitty person she is.
No, her hair is. I don't think the hair is because she's a shitty person, was it? Or was it some sort of medical condition?
So when you guys say things like this, you know what it means.
What?
I'm sorry, but I think it means that, except if you are the only one that think this way.
Mm-hmm.
But when people make comments like this on a character, it means that I'm a filmmaker. I will take it. That character might be flawed.
Mm-hmm.
The backstory of that character might be flawed. Because when you see like a main character in a movie and after the movie, you're finding it difficult to even understand that person's personality, then how would you even connect with the story itself? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do you
Do
understand?
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are movies where, for example, look at what's her name? Look at Kemi Adesiba's what's her name?
So that the King of Boys.
King of Boys.
Yeah.
Do you know how people understood Shola Shobowa's character? Like the character was so, like people understood.
It was easy to understand.
You know, do you
I
understand?
think it's because of the backstory.
It's because of the
It's because of the
backstory and
backstory.
find the character herself awesome. Do you understand?
Thank you.
Awesome. But guess what? Regardless of how awesome a character is, if you don't have a good director and you don't have a good story, it's still, because even if you deliver your lines very well, can people believe your lines? Because now what will make people believe that I am a police? It's not because you can tell them that I'm a police and you say it with so much confidence, yes, I'm a police. But by the time they now follow you through in that movie and they see you, the way you carry yourself, do you carry yourself as a police? There are things that are like associated with being a police.
Yes.
Do you understand? So it means that, you now start giving some kind of backstory, or you understand why I became police in the first place. Now, when you explain all that, then it explains my rationale. Every single rationale I make in the movie, everything was her name did, everything Shola Shobowale did, we understood where it was from. The supposedly stupid things she did that were based on emotions, we know what made her do those things. Because she's a very strong person. So you wouldn't have expected her to do some things that she did. Because you're like, these things are quote unquote dumb. But we understand that, there's a human side to her. And what brought out that side was because she has suffered this loss.
Yes.
This is what so we are able to justify all those things. So when people say things like this, it means that the character is
so and it's supposed to be a musical. It's supposed to be a musical movie, right? But then the main character does not know how to sing. Like normally, does she sing?
Sorry, that is something that I think I don't know how we want to solve that problem in Nigeria. You know why? I made mention of Anikulapo. I've actually never said this, before, just to people. Akim King Kazam, which was the king. That character I find it very difficult to believe. Why? Because I know Akim King Kazam. Yeah, I know him like as a person. I've seen him in other movies. Now you bring Akim K. Kazam in a movie, and he cannot speak. I know Akim K. Kazam cannot speak Yoruba. Now you put him in a Yoruba movie. And me, I'm like, okay, I want to see him speak. Does he want to speak Yoruba? Okay, let him speak Yoruba. But guess what?
They made him mute.
They made him, they said he's mute because they killed his son. Now, what for me, what messed it up for me was that he was talking to his assistant. Like do you understand? So now, it's not like this guy, if you tell me he loses his voice, maybe I'll still be, but he was talking to someone else. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to understand, yes, that okay, they killed his son, but this guy doesn't speak Yoruba on a normal day. But how did it's the same thing you're talking about, she must be obeyed. We know actors that are like literally diverse. We know actors that literally would go for singing lessons.
Yeah.
We know actors that when we see them, we come. Tom Cruise, for example, when you watch a movie by Tom Cruise and he does any stunts, it's difficult for you to even, if they tell you it was CGI, you even say it's a lie, it's not CGI.
That he did it himself.
Because we know this person's character, whether you like it or not. We can say it's his movie, they're just acting. We still find a way as humans to bring in their personal life into it. Imagine when, what's it called, D-Rock, or what's his name, Dwayne Johnson, played Tooth Fairy. That must have been something that, I don't know who came up with that idea of using someone like that.
That was mature as it is.
But their point exactly was just trying to say, okay, fine, someone can be this big, but can also have like the soft side to it.
Yes.
That is understandable. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But when you now try to Nigerian actors, I'm sorry to say, but they are not
that versatile.
They are not, and it's not their fault when you ask them, because it costs a lot to actually, number one, be fit, to go through all this. And for example, now as a filmmaker, the way we do the things here, you're having jobs back to back.
Yes.
For example, some actors will be on two sets at a time. And you know what that means? You cannot expect me, like maybe my character says I'm on dreads. Then I have another set I'm on and I'm supposed to be on low cuts.
That is, I feel like at some point there'll be a clash.
There'll be a clash. So let me tell you what happens most times. So because I want that character so bad, because I want this actor, this celebrity so bad to be on my movie set, then I would have to compromise. Someone then has to compromise at some point to say, okay, you know what? Okay, just use the air you have. Do you understand that kind of thing? What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. Before he did Joker. Do you know what he did? Do you know how? Did you see him in the movie? You know the way he was in the movie. Have you seen Joker?
He was psycho.
Did you see him after when he got the award?
No.
Okay, it was the way he was supposed to be. He was like not chubby, but he was like. But did you see him in the movie? This guy was like literally, it was malnutritioned.
Yeah.
So, no, that's the thing.
That's one thing I appreciate their art for. And
sorry, let me just say this real quick. I don't blame the actors. And this is why I say I don't blame the actors, is that everybody just wants to eat. So I can't do a movie now. How much are you paying me? You expect me to wait
and let go of another
or you are telling me, okay, your project is going to start in the next 1 year and I want you to be this character, and you expect me for that 1 year to go through a lot of exercise, fitness training,
emotional turmoil.
Just because it's just some. If you see any actor do it now, it's two things: is either the person has their more like they are already rich, or they have another source of. It's just money. The money is there already. Do you understand? Because money without passion, trust me, it's passion.
It's passion. I really wish we should go on.
Yeah,
but. I have like lots of questions to ask, but time is not so much on our side. But before I go, before we begin to like start rounding up, what is one Nigerian film that you're particularly proud of and why?
That's a difficult one. Not because I don't have one, but because changes over time. Now, first and foremost, of course, I'll pick my Sugar Mom's movie, King of Boys. Yes, anytime, any day, because whether we like it or not, it's give us a new standard.
Yeah, true. It
Indeed.
did. It did.
Well,
It did set a new standard.
It set a new standard. Fine, it's not perfect. Trust me, it's not perfect. I and my friends, we've sat down, we've digested the whole thing. So that aside, I think another movie is Gang of Lagos.
Yeah, Gang of
Lagos.
Lagos.
Yes. Gang of Lagos. Yeah. So for me, I'll say Gang of Lagos.
Well, for me, this year, the movies that I am proud of, Jago Jago, and then there's
Black
this one
Book.
by that I've forgotten this.
Far From Home.
No, is it Biodun Stevens? Sister. There was nothing extra about the movie, but the storyline.
The storyline
is the
itself.
story that made
Biodun
it.
Stevens is one of the best directors we have in Nigeria, and do you know why? Because she
Thank
does.
you said that.
She has this. Even directors know when it comes to making drama for not the gang stuff. Give her story, like
Yes.
story. She's going to interpret. Like, just give her the best character. She's going to do awesome with
there was
it.
a question that just popped up in my head when you say that. Would you say that directors, they have their own niche? Like, this is something that they can do, that if they now try doing something else they don't do it so well.
Both ways, both generally in life, you have this thing that you are good at. You're
Sure.
lucky if you can do that thing and do something else and also succeed. But you must understand at some point that you cannot do everything and succeed. For example, when it comes to music, we have an artist like Rema that can do literally anything. He can rap, he can do trap, he can sing.
He's a good performer.
He's a good performer. Good for
Excellent
him. Awesome.
performer.
But now we have Fireboy. Fireboy is just a singer.
Yeah.
And he does awesome. Like, so it will be some kind of, for Fireboy now starts forcing himself to do other things. Why? You're already good at this. Bremer knows that he's good at all these things, so at some point he can explore this thing.
Yeah.
It's good for you to explore. You can just explore. It gives you different perspective. Yeah, but it's fine. Some directors, this is what you know how to do. That's it. So yeah.
Okay, a personal question to you before I round up. In your own little way or in your own big way, what are you doing to better the movie industry?
Okay. So before I answer that question, so let me just pick on some other ways just technology has really in terms of copyrights and content protection. So now it's easy for you to piracy is now, let's say, is reduced. Now we can control it. It cannot be eradicated whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Piracy cannot be eradicated, but it can be controlled. So it is reduced because of technology. For example, on YouTube, there are ways you can track your content. If it's on there's something they call CMS. So if your content is being used by someone else, is either you get revenue from that person's content or you just bring it out. You just bring it down. That's technology right there. We didn't have all these things, way back.
Yeah, we
So now
did not.
sometimes some people, even when they release a movie in cinema and all that, so even if your movie is not on YouTube, you're not showing it on YouTube. Other people, I don't know how they get access to these things. Then they release it on YouTube. You can then upload yourself on YouTube. You're not viewing. People are not viewing it on your platform. It's just for you to have a record. It's like what you're telling the YouTube algorithm is that you see this content, you see this sound. Any other person, any other place you hear it on this platform, alert me. So that's the way it works. Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. You have
So
to-
is that why this popular website went down? Is it Net Nigeria?
Net Nigeria, I'm sure it's probably due to reasons
Piracy.
like that. Yes, of course, because that and when we get to part of the things I do, not to, I'll speak about that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the thing about copyrights. Now people are more informed on copyrights. Okay, this is what I can do when I'm signing contracts. Okay, these are the kind of contract I can sign and all that. And also in terms of access to information, when you want to learn things now, you don't need to go to the four walls of a school, film school, to learn their online film school. Yes, of course.
Sorry.
Yeah, their online film school, and also data marketing. Now you can reach a wide audience from
true.
anywhere. They are,
True.
what's it called? The movie that got selected for Oscar from Nigeria, CJ Ferriobasi, that's the name of the filmmaker, Mami Water. This guy is a filmmaker that is not a commercial filmmaker, so to say. So people are even saying the movie is trash. Yeah, why? Because is a creative, it's those kind of movies that you watch and like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, you'd have to think and think.
Yeah, go watch
to know
this
what's
movie on
going
Netflix, Lost Okoroshi.
Lost
And
Okorochi.
You're going to laugh because it's literally like a masquerade and a guy just doing things like. But you understand what I'm trying to say? So those are kind of people that, okay, now you can now decide to say, based on technology and everything, can decide to say, okay, you know what I want to do, I'm not making movies for Nigerians. I'm making movies for other people outside the world to see Nigeria. That's the idea of Mami Water, the idea of Lost Okoroshi. There's another one, a lot of them. Because these guys, you understand that you are probably even not heard about the movie, but these guys are winning awards in film festivals outside the countries.
Yeah, because of how valuable their content is.
Their content is. So because of technology now, those guys can reach literally anywhere in the world. Yeah, so those are just like other ways that technology has really, really, really helped, the film industry in Nigeria. So when you ask what I am doing, first, I try as much as possible to stay away from pirated content as much as possible. For example, I can categorically tell you that I've never downloaded a movie from that
Net Nigeria.
Yes, and the reason is because I just feel like, I'm also a filmmaker. One day I'm going to make movies. Would I really want? Do you understand? I either go to the cinema to watch these movies or I subscribe to
Streaming platforms.
And that's streaming platforms. Yeah, and that's why as sometimes you ask me if I've seen a movie. I haven't, not because I don't want to see it sometimes, because maybe I've not had time to actually maybe go to the cinema or actually, pick up my phone to watch it. Do you understand? Like on streaming platforms. So I try as much as possible to, stay away from that. Yeah, that's one. And also what I do is I try as much as to go the extra mile. So my standard is not the Nigerian space. And it's not I don't mean that in a bad way. These guys are way, way, way ahead of us. Do you understand? So if that's my standard, it means that, okay, if this is what they are doing, I try to that is what my goal is. So that at the end of the day, I can also, surpass that goal. Do you understand? Even if I can't reach, that goal, at least I'll be close. I'm aiming for this, what's it called, for the stars. If I don't reach the stars, of course, I'm going to be somewhere in space.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I'm not going to be like on airspace.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's aside. And also what I do is, I try as much as possible to share knowledge. Do you understand? I've been lucky enough to be around people that are ready to share knowledge. And I'm very, very grateful that those people, they see me as someone that, okay, when they share with me, they also get in return. So I share knowledge. I can't hold back. Do you understand? So I share knowledge as much as, as possible. Share all those things. Yeah. So those are just like the little things that.
Well, for me, sorry. Yeah. I just hope that moving forward, we do not lose the elements of us.
Yes, as much as they're bringing technology
that makes our story ours. Do you understand? Yeah. So because no matter how much I watch, movies of other people, Korean, Indian, there is just something about the Nigerian story that speaks to me. So it's just something that I'm really looking out for, that I hope that we do not lose the elements of
touch.
Yeah, that makes it ours, that makes it original and
because you don't see a Korean movie story feeling like a Nigerian movie.
Exactly, or an American movie.
Feel like
True.
So
yeah.
I feel like it's really beautiful anyway what you do. So
yeah.
I hope that this would actually last long, because this is a movie that we're talking about, and I know that most of us here love movies a lot, but unfortunately we have to come to the end of today's episode, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, and you actually did find it insightful. Please take it easy on our Nigerian filmmakers. We're gonna get there.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. You can critique, but take it easy on them anyways. So this is the end of today's episode. Follow us on our social media pages, DBA_podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we bid you adieu.
Bye.